The fact that it's been so much control, government-wise, over women's bodies, especially, as of recent after Roe v. Wade was overturned, it's just always seemed ridiculous that we're even talking about it. Um, my name is Jayson. I'm 29 years old. I live in the state of Georgia. A lot of people don't really know what the ban means or what it means for women, especially coming from a man. You know, if I wasn't so close to the issue, I probably wouldn't know either. I feel like men should have more of a responsibility as people who are a part of the birthing process. And I think a lot of men kind of feel like after the act is done, you don't have that type of responsibility anymore because you're not physically having the child, but that's not the case. I've always said I'm not just pro-choice, I'm pro-abortion. I can attest, like in my own life, and my own friends, people I've grown close to, that have had, real issues and real complications with pregnancy, um, outside of people who just want to have an abortion, which they should have the option to. It always seemed ridiculous that it was something that men have voted on. If people saw the map that I was shown of, what's the closest state that you can get an abortion after 6 weeks, like it's nowhere near. Like I said, I'm from Georgia. You have to literally, cross several state lines just to get to a place where it's still legal. The urgency shouldn't come, when it directly affects you. Like if it directly affected, my family member or someone that I was involved with, it should always be an issue with you because, these are our women, you know what I mean? And I'm not putting it on all men to, take it upon themselves like I would, but there has to be that level of concern or care. Especially in the South, poverty is a big issue amongst Black people. And Black people are all minorities, honestly. And the fact that, like I said, if you looked at the map of, these states that are affected, they're all southern states, mostly southern states. And it just feels like it's almost directed at, minorities. You know what I mean? Like you don't have these same type of controls, elsewhere. No, not to say it's not an issue for, white women as well, but they usually have more resources to, go out of state right quick, take off work for a week or two to go get this done. We have single mothers, people who just don't have that option. But it does feel directed towards, our women, Southern women, Black women, minority women, because it feels like they're only trying to control them. And to me, that feels definitely, I feel targeted. These conversations are not happening. Just to keep it 100, like in between men, we're not talking about this. It's not our issue, but it is our issue. If you've had any kind of medical issue or something, all of these things matter with time. And if you wait a couple weeks, their situation could be totally different, for their health, for their ability to have more children. And it was expensive before, this happened. It was never a convenient thing to do. It's always people yelling outside of Planned Parenthoods, demonizing people for getting abortions. I think even the people who are less inclined to vote, if they were more aware, they would. I'm very sure they would. So to my fellow men and anyone else hearing this, it is up to us to get our voices out there. And I know a lot of times, especially I can attest to, you don't feel like you're heard all the time. You don't feel like your opinion matters. But on this particular issue, when it comes to our women and our birthing people, like they are very important and they need to be protected. And it's our job to do that. So I want to implore anyone looking at this video, hearing my voice, like your voice is important. If you cannot donate money, which is always needed, donate your time, have these conversations. That's really the most important part. These conversations need to be had amongst your peers, amongst anyone you can have a listening ear. They need to hear this and they need to understand that it's very urgent. I stand with Planned Parenthood Southeast.